console orange.
Do I look orange?
I didn't touch it.
Orange is not my color.
Not me.
Hello? Oh my gosh, I'm anxiety.
My first thought upon seeing this trailer was, oh gods no. Hello everyone, and welcome back to the Dragon's Library. I know it's been a while, but I finally got another review out. Sorry about the break, but I ended up scrapping my Del Toro Quest anime review after multiple re-edits, and it kinda just took me a bit to get all this done. Fortunately, I had several other things to review that were an absolute delight, so today I will be reviewing Inside Out 2, because Pixar finally freaking got its groove back. Woohoo! Sorry, I'm just so happy Pixar managed to put out such a great movie. I don't mean any shame to movies like Onward or The Incredibles 2, but neither of those were really Pixar at its best, and I'm someone who really liked Onward, so that kind of saying a lot. However, in my opinion, despite still holding moderate critical success, Pixar's been on this slow downward trend, I'd say, ever since about Coco. Their movies were still decent and even good on occasion, but they didn't quite live up to the previous standard Pixar had been held to. It got to the point where even though I, again, liked Onward and Elemental was alright, I just got bored with their movies. Onward hooked me mostly on the modern day fantasy world thing, which you can basically make anything, I'll get hooked with that. And it was okay, pretty good at times, but Elemental just kind of felt generic. Like the kind of thing DreamWorks pulls out when they just need a movie that year. Not to say DreamWorks can't make some absolutely fantastic stuff, they've actually been doing a little better than Pixar in my opinion in these last few years. It looked great, but the story just felt like a checklist of tropes rather than a fleshed out story. In case you were wondering my opinions on Elemental, that basically sums it up. Fortunately, Inside Out 2 showed up and man, did I ever misjudge this movie from the trailers. After the first few trailers came out in the last few years, I just assumed this was going to be an okay sequel at best and a potential disaster at worst. Turns out, it was just what I needed. Now, for those of you who weren't alive when the first movie came out almost a decade ago, holy shit, wait, a decade? Oh, that makes me feel kind of old. Moving on before I start thinking about depressing topics like the inevitability of death, the first Inside Out was released in 2015. It followed the personification of several emotions in the mind of a young girl named Riley: joy, sadness, anger, fear, and disgust. To quickly summarize the original plot, joy was being super controlling, sadness was being repressed, Riley was moving to a new town and her life felt out of control, she got depressed, joy and sadness got knocked out of headquarters with the core emotions and had to bring them back, and sadness had to step up and joy had to learn to trust sadness and not be so overly controlling that sometimes you just need to cry. It was a very emotional movie, and honestly, it's one of Pixar's best movies. And with a studio like Pixar, saying it's one of their best is a huge deal. I know that's putting it almost as some very stiff competition, but trust me, it was really good. Now Inside Out 2 came along and sold me not just on being a sequel to a really, really good movie, but potentially another movie after this sequel? I mean, I'm potentially on board with a third movie? What's this feeling? Is it hope? Well, okay, so what's this sequel about? Riley is now 13, has made 2 good friends, her life is going great. Joy has become less controlling, more accepting of others, so she still has a habit of repressing things that aren't going great. And the memories have begun to coalesce into Riley's sense of self. However, this new status quo is interrupted by the appearance of several new emotions: anxiety, envy, ennui, and embarrassment.
Well, welcome to headquarters, embarrassment. Oh, we're doing a fit. No. Oh, nope, going high. Oh, you got a real sweaty palm there, buddy.
At the same time, puberty starts, being represented by a new upgrade to the control center that made it hard to use because Riley overreacts when any of them touch it. Despite originally trying to work with the new arrivals, anxiety begins to cause problems and rallies the other emotions to bottle up the original 5, specifically after he realizes that Riley's friends are not going to be going to the same high school and starts having basically a panic attack. He decides to not only chuck them away, but also the original sense of self that they've been growing and build a new one in its place. With the sense of self lost in the back of the mind due to Joy's own device, she and the others must retrieve it and bring it back before it's too late. The premise has a lot going on, but all the different plot threads feed into each other rather seamlessly, and I loved it. The story feels like a natural extension of the first movie. In the first movie, Riley was learning she can't be happy all the time, sometimes you just need to cry about stuff. This one has her grappling with the onset of anxiety and a sudden identity crisis as she becomes a teenager. I particularly like the new emotions. Anxiety acts like an antagonist, but in a manner similar to Joy in the original movie. He doesn't want to cause problems, he just wants to help Riley. However, his nature often causes him to spiral into worry and doubt, thinking over the worst possible scenario he could. Ennui, who represents boredom, and Envy, who, envy, agree with him, but Embarrassment is more conflicted, which I kind of liked, even helping Sadness when she sneaks back into headquarters. I also like seeing the growth from the previous movie. Joy and Sadness learn to trust one another very closely, and now Joy treats Sadness like her second in command, even encouraging her when she has doubts. The other three emotions, disgust, anger, and fear, also get to take a more central role. In the first movie, they were the ones at the headquarters, while Sadness and Joy were on the adventure. And although they were funny and helped out in the climax, they weren't really as prominent as the main two. Now, since Sadness is Joy's lieutenant, Joy sends her to headquarters so she can help them get back once they find the sense of self, while anger, fear, and disgust travel along with her. Anger and disgust in particular have a lot more to do in this one. Fear does too, but not quite as much as the other two in my opinion. I would have liked one more scene with him. The actors are all giving their A games. I particularly liked the actor they brought in for Anxiety. Anxiety was played by Maya Hawke, who you most likely have seen as Robin in Stranger Things. Honestly, that's kind of all I have to say about this movie. It's a fantastic movie, and I really don't want to go over too much of the plot because this really is the kind of thing you see yourself. If you have not seen the original Inside Out, first off, go watch that immediately. And then, after you've watched that, go see this. If you have already seen the original Inside Out, go see this. It's easily the best thing Pixar has made since Coco. The animation looks fantastic, the writing is emotional, voice actors are all doing a great job. It also keeps in line with the message of the original movie, in that every emotion has a purpose, none of them are inherently bad. Like I said earlier, Anxiety's an antagonist, but he's not really a villain. She's just overwhelmed and taking things too far. Honestly, very minor spoiler here, so skip ahead if you don't want to hear it. As someone who had some emotional issues as a kid and teenager, the ending where Riley is in high school and Anxiety starts to worry again but gets calmed down, sits in the chair, has a cup of tea, is like, okay, focus on what you can do, take deep breaths. That hit me, I'm not gonna lie. And I feel like if you've ever been a teenager, so every adult on the planet, there's probably gonna be some moment in this film that goes, oh, that's a little too real, okay. Sort of like how the original ending of Inside Out was basically designed to make you cry. I really don't know how else to describe it other than just say you need to experience that. So yeah, this movie was really good, gets an easy 10 out of 10. I can't wait to see what Pixar does next, which is something I haven't said about their last 2 or 3 movies. So yeah. Moving on from there, let's go over the announcements. I'm still streaming Shadow of the Erdtree, Elden Ring's new DLC on Tuesday and Thursday at 7:30 Central Standard Time. Be sure to stop by, I'm always happy to chat while a boss pounds my head into the ground. The next 2 reviews will be for Hell for Hire, a new book based on Sumerian mythology by Rachel Aaron. I'm so excited to talk about it. And the review of Another Crab's Treasure, a Souls-like video game about a crab collecting microplastic, which I streamed before I went on vacation. So look forward to both of those coming up soon. Finally, we have the Out card. There should be the subscribe orb. Click on it, go to my channel and subscribe. And below that, there should be a video YouTube recommends. So click that, and I will see you all next time. Bye!